So how would we define work to us individually? And this is an open conversation. We are all allowed to speak. Everyone is supposed to share their opinion. What is work to you as a woman? Any thoughts there, Julia or Jenny or Patience or Mavis? Anyone? Take us. Anyone? What is work?
Let me just say something since everybody is so quiet.
Sure.
Well, I think work for a woman in general never stops. I think we just accept it as part of being who we are. I mean, we are um, we carers. We form just in our personality as a mother. Just
Mm,
that alone, we automatically have to start thinking about everybody else around us. And I think being part of work is just another extension to the body of who we actually are.
mm.
And it's like a flow. For me, it never stops. I sometimes wish I can just stop, switch off, but I don't. So that's my bad fall. In that's a huge. I need counseling because I never switch off, and it's always like, yeah. So I think when a woman or a mother or even a young person that's not even a mother yet hears the word work, and you're entrepreneur, I just think the brain never switches off. It's a continuous, yeah, continuous. Let me just put my face on here too. It's a continuous part of just being. I don't know what you all disagree or agree.
Great. I think Patience was going to say something. What is work
Eh,
to you, Patience?
well, I think work is something you do to earn a living, or maybe to satisfy your maybe your let me say you have talent or abilities that you actually want to use it to impact other people's life,
Okay.
and also to earn a living to support your family. That's what I think.
Okay.
100% passion. I think that's just part of it. That's a no-brainer. We have to earn, otherwise, there's no point in it. We just don't get paid for our home duties, do we? And that's the highest cost.
Great. 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 And to everyone else, what would family be? Or what would, let's say, I think by saying family, then we are narrowing it too much. What would life be? What would life be? Because if work is about doing something and maybe earning for it, would life also be something that you are earning from it? Or life constitutes something differently? And that's a tricky
Eh,
one.
Yeah, I think we always want rewards, eh? When it's earning, that might be a debate.
um, I think work is, I'll put it under life. It's a subset of life. I think life is much more than work. There are a lot of things that comes together to make life up, and I think work is part of the things that constitutes life. Life has a lot to do, giving, receiving, everything about our living is life.
Okay. So Priscilla has her hand up. Priscilla, could you come in?
If I, yeah, I would say that life is anything else apart from work. That's how I see it.
Okay.
So if you're not working, then it means that anything else relates to your life. It could be your family, it could be friends, it could be your hobbies, it could be anything else, your interest. Okay, that's what I think life is.
I think that is a really new, interesting dimension to it. Anything outside of work that engages you, I mean, is life. So your health is life, family is life, friends are life, even your hobbies are life. That walk that you would take would be life. I think that is a really interesting perspective. That is a really interesting perspective. That is a really interesting perspective. So, what was life? What was life like before COVID? And I will be happy if we could take turns, every one of the ladies here, everyone takes turns telling what life was like before COVID. Julia, are you here? Valerie, Caroline, you're all welcome on board and we are happy to have you here. Today we're just having an open conversation about work-life balance and we are trying to break down these two important topics but very key to our lives. And I'm asking, what was life before COVID? What was our everyday lives before COVID?
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Uh, I think that our life before COVID was very simple.
okay.
COVID changed more things on our life.
Mm.
And after COVID, we have to change many things that we want to do. And I think that before COVID, our life was very good, and now it's very complicated.
Okay. So what particularly changed for you?
Many things change for me because I'm lecturer, and with the COVID, I have to work at home, and to have classes, and I'm at home is not easy. We are not used to this routine,
Mm.
and we had to adapt the work at home. We had children at home, at our house. We are not prepared to have one corner to work.
Okay.
I need more time to prepare the classes because the classes online is very different. Even we have classes face to face, and many things was very different before COVID. And the children are at home and not go to school. You need to do anything to children continue learning some things. And it's very hard routine, but it's so good because we have more time to be with our children, our husband.
So we will come to that. So is there any other lecturer? We'll come to that aspect of that. Is there anyone else who is a lecturer here or who is in academia here? Do you share Julia's thoughts? Anyone with similar experiences?
Yes, my name's Valerie. Good evening, everyone. Yeah,
Hi, Valerie.
I shared Julia's experiences because before now it was easy to just walk into the laboratory with like 30 students and carry out an analysis with all students looking. And now you have to streamline to say three batches of five students each,
Okay.
and it makes there, these one-on-one meetings, one-on-one teachings that you could have, and when you are teaching and you're gesticulating and you're seeing the physical reactions of your students, you know whether they are understanding or not. That you don't really get to see that when you're teaching virtually. So we need to quite adapt to it though. This is the new norm. But on the average, I would say I would prefer life before COVID.
Oh, I see. That's really interesting. Anyone else with similar experiences?
Yeah, well, this is Caroline from Kenya. And
Hi.
yeah, hi. And I think it has brought some opportunities as well. The,
Okay.
con the convenience, like for example, what we're doing right now, this was probably something we were not doing before. Being able to meet so many people from different parts of the world in terms of interacting with people. In some cases, it saves time to be able to work from home and teach your students. So there's that positive aspect that we can teach at times we never used to teach, meet at certain times, in the evening and things like that. But as I don't know the person who spoke earlier, who said that you don't have that direct contact. We have a training center, and when you're training online, of course, you're not able. Nothing can ever replace that direct interaction with people, to talk with them directly, to see how they're reacting. So you do miss the face-to-face interaction,
Okay.
which gets lost. But there are some opportunities as well, in terms of maybe convenience, and also a wider scope as a result of that. So yeah, that's true. And then again, at least also when we're under lockdown as the rest, we're able to interact more with the family. Yeah, because we're with the family, you're at home. And for me, it provided me with a chance to interact with my own daughter.
Okay.
Was like for 8 months, my daughter in high school, and we were home together. I like that. That was an opportunity that would probably have not presented itself. So there are some positives as well as, of course, challenges.
Wow. Wow. Positives and challenges. An interesting COVID ride, hasn't it? Anyone else? Any other experiences? Anyone else with any other experiences? But how about this? Is it important to have a balance? Is it important to have a balance between life and work?
We had this discussion sometime recently, and they said maybe not a balance so much as harmony, because it can never be 50. So I think it's about harmony and recognizing that there are times, just making the times probably that you do what you need to do if you're at work, making that time count. Leave your work in the office if possible, go home, and then give your time to the family. And um, and therefore you're having a harmony where you're giving quality where possible at whatever you're doing. But I think sometimes it's difficult to have balance in all things, yeah? Because time does not allow everything to be equal.
Yeah.
Thank you, Caroline. Patience, you were going to say
Yeah,
something.
exactly what I was about to say. I think she has said it. I think the balance is important, but I have found it very difficult to have that balance.
Okay.
It's either more of work, especially this COVID time,
Hmm.
work most of the time, working from home, there's no time to wait. at every point in time, you receive mails and you have to respond and work. Once, I think a few days ago, my last one, 6 years old, told me, as for mommy, when she's working on a laptop, you're talking to her, she will never even look at your face, she won't listen to you. And it's almost they want your attention, but you also want to satisfy their work. So the balance is good, but it's difficult.
Wow. 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 Thank you, Patience. Yes, Mavis. Yes, Mavis. So if you are joining in the conversation late, we are talking about work-life balance. And we started off with what is work to you as a woman and what is life to you. And we concluded by saying that work was something that we do to earn money in some way. And then life, from one of our presenters, said that was anything that you do outside of work, including your health or your family, your friends, that is life. So even your hobbies, taking that little walk is part of life. Now we are talking about the fact that is it even important to have a balance between work and life? On the assumption that don't confuse, so someone says that don't confuse having a career with having a life. Is it really important to have a balance? Is it necessary? And the conversations that are tripping in are saying that you need a harmony, not necessarily a balance. What do you also think? What are your thoughts? Is it important to have a balance?
I agree with what the previous lady said because it is sometimes so hard to find a balance,
Yeah.
but it is easy to find a harmony within what you do. And I think a lot of us is guilty of throwing us all into work
Mm.
and then to come back to reality of wearing those other hats of being a partner, a mother, just as another person is sometimes just, I think it's not that easy.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Johnny. Yes, Mercy. And then we'll have Bukani and Fumi.
Hi, ladies. This is interesting. It's really just about managing and being deliberate about it.
Okay.
Because, like the other ones have said, it's there's nothing like balancing. I don't know. Unless we say we mean unless balancing we mean managing. Yes, because today is Friday. I just spent like the past 4 days uh, going to bed around maybe 1 a.m., 2 a.m. because I'm working and with this COVID, you're online doing this, doing that, that meeting, that training, and like the other one said, it's like an advantage, but sometimes it's also a disadvantage that like now, I knock off at 5. So by this time I should be home and doing other things. But we are here now having this conversation. So and you're coming from work. So it's just about managing and being deliberate about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Managing and being deliberate about it. Yes, Fumi.
Hi, ladies. Thank you very much. I think this is going to sound like echoing what most of you have said, but in the real sense of it, as a woman, we must look at it from the point of view of the fact that we wear so many hats per time. We're mothers, we're teachers, we're nursery workers. We are so many things all encapsulated into one. So at the same time, the concept of work-life balance, if you ask me, I don't particularly think it exists. Prior to COVID, it never existed. Now it's even worse. I think the only thing we can do as women, given the fact that, the way the world is structured already, we are in a deficit, is just to understand that we can't get a balance, or we just keep, like the other lady said, we manage. But instead, I would like to use the word integrate. I think we try to integrate so many parts, so many things into one to make it a whole. So I think it's more of integration. So what is good part-time? Maybe your level of integration, it could be like you're integrating at a level of 70%, or you're integrating at a level of 150%, or you're integrating at a level of 10%. So it now depends on how you work it out within yourself, so that you don't lose yourself as a person and you don't lose yourself in the society. I think that's what we all try to do. Thank you.
Thank you for me. Thank you so much. Integration. So many words coming in. Yes, Bokani, please.
Hi, ladies. Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I think for me, it's not necessarily the balance per se, but the ability to be in control. And by that, I mean, are you able to successfully execute the tasks and the services, everything that you are engaged in on time to deliver results? So with balance, I think it's just we're throwing that phrase out there, but I don't think anyone is able to balance life, personal life and work, because it's just impossible. If you shift to one side where you focus on completing certain tasks, then that means the other side suffers. So, but if you have a schedule of today I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to exercise, cook at home, finish this task at work, submit this to your supervisor. If you're able to do that, to me, that's success. So it's all about the ability to execute the tasks that are important to you on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Ability to execute the task that is important to you. Thank you, Bokani. Yes, Priscilla.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the conversation so far, and the fact that we all tend to have the same idea or perception that it's not so much about balance, about control. And I think it's quite important, because as African women, we are brought up to believe that we have to be perfect at everything we do. Okay, if the home is going to work, it's the African woman. If the kids are going to spend at school, it's the African woman. So I think that it's being controlled as a human being, not as a woman. So if you take that into perspective, then means that I think that we would not strive so much to be perfect in everything we do, but we'll try and then enjoy life as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. With Fumi and Bokani, would you still want something to contribute? So when Priscilla was talking, she mentioned something about African woman, and that kept coming in and coming in and coming in. So that will lead me to ask, do we think as African women or as women, there is that social cultural pressure to be perfect that pushes us to want to seek some form of perfectionist attitude or something in our life? Is there some form of social cultural pressure? And if there is this pressure something that is being told to you, or is it something that you yourself as an individual have taken it up based on what you are seeing around you? Yes, for me.
Thank you, Afua, and thank you to Priscilla. I think it was Priscilla that just spoke.
Yes.
Okay, very good. I tend to think that the way we've been socialized as women, as Black women, it's in a deficit, if you ask me. Because right from birth, you were taught, to know that if the home is going to work, everything, the onus lies, in your hands. It's on you. If your children are going to succeed in school, if they're going to come out in the larger family, it's your role as a woman, it's your responsibility. So all these things, when you put them together, it's a lot of pressure, if you ask me. But you know, at an individual levels, you realize that the way the whole thing is structured is just from the way our institutions are, the way the family institution is, the way the society is, our communities, the way we have limits, you know. The agency is not there. You can't function. The control that we'll talk about, it's relative, it's restricted. We have limits as to what we can do. You say you want to sleep at 10 and the whole house is not tidy. The man in his tiny head, believes that it's your role to get the house clean. I mean, you don't want to sleep in dirt. Your children are still dirty. You want to do so many things at the same time. At the same time, you're working to get paid. All the other ones you're doing in the house, you're not even paid for it. So when you look at it critically, are we actually in control? I doubt that statement, you know, that issue of control. I have a personal issue with it. I don't think we have so much control. And I think that's where the women empowerment thing comes in, women advancement. I think that's where it comes in for us as women in Africa. I think to a very large extent, the way we have been socialized is faulty. Our institutions are not doing very well to help us out of this burden. And it's just the way it is. I think it's just the way the whole thing is structured. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Fumi. Thank you very much for your submission. Thank you so much. Yes, Valerie. Yes, Valerie, please go ahead.
Sure.
No, I think internet issues. Hi, I think there's internet issues. So do we think that they have social cultural expectations as women? Is that do we think, what are the social cultural expectations that is driving us? And Fumi has talked about the family institution and the way in which we are socialized. What are individual perceptions also about the expectations of the African woman? I think someone is trying to communicate with the internet. Anyone else with a different opinion? What do we think are the social cultural expectations as women? What are the social cultural expectations of us?
Is it actually cultural expectations, or are we our own
Any
enemy? But
social,
just
yeah. Are there any social cultural expectations that we know of?
yeah, but I'm trying to say is like we all don't you sometimes think it's in our head because we as women just have high standards and high
Okay.
values for what our surrounding must be and what our expectations of ourselves are. I think it's much higher than anybody else. So do you sometimes think that we make the mistake of thinking it is a cultural expectation or a standard. Meanwhile, it is something in our head as an ambitious woman.
Okay.
I'm asking the question, yeah.
So Jenny is asking if it's something that we have taken on ourselves as part of our ambition, or it's just something that society places on us. What do we think? Is our quest for perfectionism and everything else to have that balance, something that we have created, a path that we have created for ourselves as a result of wanting to do more, to achieve more? Or this has more to do with what society expects from us? I mean, from my own perspective, I would say that it's it's a it's a double-edged sword. Um, on individually, even if you are not acting in some way as a woman, you it's like you are going off track. It's like you're not doing something right. And so you have that individual edge to make sure that everything is perfect around you, to make sure that family is intact, to make sure that you have done duties of what a woman is supposed to do. So the household chores, and then at work also, you are supposed to be that strong woman. You're supposed to come off as a strong woman. You're supposed to prove yourself that you deserve to be in that place as a woman. And then there is that pressure from society where expectations are that you must be able to achieve that. So I think for me, from my own perspective, I would think that it's more of a double-edged sword. I don't know what anyone else thinks. Who made your hand up? Would you like to come in?
Well, I didn't raise my hand. It's a legendary hand, but notwithstanding, I can just tell you that everything stems from the society. It all stems from the institution. There's no way you would wake up and burden yourself. I don't think it's in human nature. But the way the whole thing is structured as a woman, the whole society is gendered. So if you don't react to save yourself, to have some, what's it called again? What do we call it? Capacity to act, agency. No, to have some agency so that you can function to make it seem like you're having some balance at whatever it is we do between our work and our lives. It's just difficult from my perspective. I think it's just the society. I'm not trying to blame it on the society entirely, but everything stems from the society, the institutions, our norms, our values, what we think it's important, the way we've been socialized to see that some things are important and some are just less important. To even see that as a woman, you're probably not important. We are not, especially a Black woman, you're not high on the hierarchy. So when you look at it from such perspectives, you now find yourself to become a manager. You end up just struggling all through, not because you are not intellectually or professionally sound, no, but because you have so many things working against you. The institutions are not working, or institutions are working in such a way that it's against an average woman. So that's my take on that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you there.
Maybe I could just, recently I read a book which says, "Can a woman have it all?"
Okay. I really want to read that.
Well, and the author said, yes, we can have it all, but not all at the same time. All right. So we need to prioritize what is important at a certain time. Sort of like maybe if this is a time you're bringing up your young kids and you really need to give them more time, then something else may have to rest now. But then maybe if you wanted to do a postgraduate or something, but that does not mean that's the end of your postgraduate. You probably may have to put it aside for a few years or so. So I think it's about prioritizing what is important at the time. What do you need to get done at this time? That's very important, that if I don't do it now, then I might not get that chance to do it again. And, it's just that opportunity that, it's about prioritizing what is important now, and then maybe doing that other thing another time. So it's true that we do want to do several things, but we cannot do them all at the same time. They must, we kind of have to prioritize at the time what's important to you at that time, because otherwise, of course, there are all these expectations all around us. But it's not possible to have everything at that time. It's about prioritizing, I think.
Prioritizing what is important to you at that time. Priscilla, you were going to say something.
If I was just going to share this very interesting experience I had.
Yes.
Yes, before Caroline spoke. Thank you anyway, Caroline. I really enjoyed your submission. It was very, very good. So I attended this wedding, and then, I think that the groom was a pastor and the bride a teacher. So the pastor was going to pray for them, and pray for the man. God bless your hands, God bless your work, God bless this. And then the woman, he said, God give you the grace to be a pastor's wife. So I said, can't you identify her by any other means than the pastor's wife? So I was just following up to what Fimi said, that, there are all these structures there. They are affecting us in whatever we do. Okay, so we really need to prioritize. That's Caroline is saying, that, look, try and identify what you want at a particular point in time. Shut your ears to some of these noise coming from outside. Okay, and then that's the only way, or that's when you can really achieve a lot. That's just by the way, anyway.
So prioritization. Yes, Victor.
I'm saying that the Victor is just is Gloria, not Victor.
Okay, sorry, Gloria.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's Victor that is there. From my experience,
Yes.
I think for a woman to get something, sometimes some people are lucky anyway, that everything just flows for them. Like they are from a good family background where their fathers, the mothers, they know the worth of training their kids. They are not discriminating.
Mm.
But when you come from that society or from that family background that sees a woman as a second class citizen, then you have to you have to be radical. In fact, you have to be stubborn. You have to challenge everything that challenges you for you to get up to that point. It starts even with your family, because as a daughter, you are expected to get married, so they don't regard you as a co-owner of your father's home. Then when you get married, you're also a second class citizen there, because you're not even known for you are known through your husband or your kids. You can see this is Nick's wife. Okay, this is John's mom. So like this, so the society has really placed women in a situation that wherever they are at that particular time, they struggle to make meaning for themselves. They struggle to re-identify themselves, to show the world or the society that they really belong in this world, not just the men, but they themselves. So for me, I know, yes, there are the fortunate ones there, but if you come from the other, please just be stubborn. Don't look at anybody. Don't look at any. Do the right thing for yourself, even as you make sure that everybody around you is comfortable if they want to. But the main thing is to do the right thing
Mm.
first for yourself, then for whoever that is concerned.
Mm.
That's yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Gloria. And I think that one thing that I'm picking from every other submission regarding this question has to do with um finding that right balance. And I think I'll pick up on something that Caroline said when she said sometimes you have to prioritize and sometimes you would have to give up on some things. I would just like, I mean, if you have an example of a life, of your own life, have you had at some point to give up something just to make sure that you are able to achieve, um, like Gloria said, you are able to achieve, not look at anybody, not care, not be bothered. Have we been put in that situation before? Do you have a personal experience you would want to share where you've been put in a situation where you'd have to let go of something to achieve something that you think is very important to your career as a woman? Yes, Gloria.
Okay, myself, I think my story is just I narrated a bit of it last time.
Mm,
You know, my mom died very early, and my dad got married to another,
mm,
to my second mom, my stepmom, who is there now. So when he got married to my second mom, my stepmom, sorry about that, um, we were thrown out of the house actually because we are five girls. So my mom gave birth to five girls, and even before then, she wasn't living with my dad because she was chased out of the house. Unfortunately for her, my dad was the only son. In fact, he's the only son. That is it. So she was chased out, and we were chased out with our mom. But then my mom did everything possible to make sure that we at least get the basic education. So after that, she died in my primary six. She died, and we were forced to go back to my father, and now the wife. Let me put it, my stepmom, the wife. So from there, I started working for people. In fact, I started working for people to raise money for me to go to school. We have palm oil. So I used to help people to process their palm oil. I wake up early in the morning, I'll process their palm oil for them. They will give me some portion of the palm oil. Instead of giving me money, they will give me the palm oil. I will save it. Then after a while, I will sell the palm oil to pay for my school fees. So I did that to finish my secondary school.
mm,
Even at that, my stepmom was scheming for me to get married because getting married is another way for me leaving the house and another way for them to get money, at least to feed her sons and the daughters. But myself, I refused. I told them that no, the best thing for me to do is to go to school. And my dad was like, I don't have anything. I'm not going to support you because for me, a woman is for another man. There's a way we put it in our place to tell you that you don't belong to your father, you belong to another man. But for myself, I was so stubborn. My dad would always chase me out of the house that I don't want to do what he wants me to do, but I'll keep on doing it. In fact, I had to beg for food for me to finish my secondary school. So while I was finishing my secondary school, by the grace of God, I got a little job that I had to save a lot of money for me to be able to enter the university. In fact, my first day in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, my first year school fees, I paid it myself. The hostel accommodation, I paid it for myself. Before now, I started getting help from people. So that is it. So sometimes you even have to deny it. You have to tell your parents, yes, if you don't want me, as long as I know that I'm doing the right thing, I don't care. Because I always tell my dad, one thing I know is that I've never disrespected you. I love you as a father. Yes, my mom is not there. I know if my mom is there, I will never suffer in life. But then my mom is not there. And you that is there, you are more interested in taking care of your wife. But then allow me to do what I want to do. But to get married, I will not do that because I know if I get married, I'm going to suffer. And I thank God that I was stubborn and today I'm really enjoy my life. And I say, thank you, God, for that. So that is it.
Thank you, Gloria. That's so for you. You had to postpone your marriage life and all that until a later time. Any other experiences anyone would love to share? So now let's come to the topic of COVID. Before COVID, obviously, we had to balance life and work. Now, with COVID, the whole strategy has changed. And I think that Caroline told us from the beginning how meetings are now convenient and we are able to have a wider scope of engagement. And we are also able to include family and all the things that we have not been able to do in the past. As an African woman, what has been the specific challenges you are facing or we are facing? What has been something that is very key to you when it comes to COVID challenges in terms of workplace practices or even the culture at work? What have been your specific challenges regarding how COVID has transformed your life and your work? Yes, Chinwenwe.
Hello.
Hi, Chinwenwe.
Hi. I think mostly is I would say is the fear or the fear of the unknown. Because the COVID has brought that tension in the workplace. The Hello?
Hi, we can hear you. Yes.
Sorry, my network is not very good.
No worries.
I think that has affected the way we are working at the workplace now.
So the fear of the unknown, does it have to do with maybe you being laid off work or you being replaced or anything related to that sort?
Not necessarily me being replaced, but as we can see that many businesses are closing down.
Yeah.
I think that has brought some kind of pressure or some kind of fear in our workplaces. Yeah, not me personally, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying it in the HR perspective.
Yes. From your background as an HR, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. So what are the specific challenges? What are the specific challenges? Chimwemwe has mentioned the fear of the unknown. What other specific challenges as African women would we consider have been the difficulties, the particular difficulties that we've had to face? Chimwemwe, would you want to speak again?
No. I forgot to turn it off.
No worries. Yes, Priscilla.
Yeah, so thank you to Chimwemwe. I think that as a bit of background, my work involves moving around a lot. And prior to COVID, I had a lot of people helping with my kids. So as an African woman, you expect to take care of the kids, but the excuse was that she was working, she's moving around, she's all over the place. So there was a mother, oh, she's traveled. Oh, okay, so okay, we understand her. But now COVID has come, and then everybody expects you to be in the house taking care of the kids. And then because of COVID, you cannot get more people or networks support you in the house. So everything lies on the woman now. So I have a lot of household chores, I have lots of things to do. So it's affecting my wife. I thought it was affecting my productivity. So I happen to be quite lucky. I spoke with my line manager. He said, okay, I think I agree with you, or I kind of empathize with you. So I'll allow you to have a bit of flexibility in terms of the hours you're going to work and all that. So I think that it's quite difficult. Okay, trying to have that, I don't want to use the word balance again, trying to have that control or trying to meet expectations and then maybe develop or progress in your career. That's one of the major challenges I faced. And it's now a bit okay for me now. So I think some may have similar experiences or maybe other experiences they may want to share with you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any other similar experiences with regard to the specific challenges that COVID has impacted on you as an African woman?
Well, like I say, like in my office or even at our university,
Yeah.
lots of casual staff were laid off, and that affected, of course, the office because many of the staff are also worked in the office, and therefore were really stripped down in terms of staff and the people who would do the work that they did. And so in that sense, it slowed down what happened, but also even the people we normally work with in terms of going out for trainings and the rest. I mean, everybody was locked down. We the trainings just stopped basically for almost a year. Wow. So, that has been, of course, the challenge. So, and then you have to look for new opportunities. So I just think that everything slowed down. And, but it's now maybe beginning to pick up again slowly. And, and just the fact that there's no travel and out of the country and things like that. So it's just changing the way you think about how you do your work, how you reach out. But at least again, the opportunity of online interaction opened up the opportunity. So I just think, it slowed down the way things were before. I mean, it was no longer business as usual. You have to think in a new way. And so, that's what I would probably say.
Thank you. So slow down. So fear, unavailability of people to support, because now if you were traveling before, now you're at home, so that's no excuse.
but also just feeling sad that people are laid off and they have to try and figure out how to survive. That's really been the biggest challenge, when people all of a sudden, and people all of a sudden don't have jobs and they're really suffering. So you're just thinking, what can one do to help other people? Maybe because I continued to work, but the people who were all laid off, just like that. So it hasn't been easy for other people. So it's it's been sad as well.
Wow. Thank you. Is there anyone who is an entrepreneur? Anyone who is having maybe not even an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur, someone with a business? How did this particularly affect your work or anything?
Hi, Afra. Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Vanessa.
If I may come in,
Yes, please.
I can't say I'm really. I am an entrepreneur, and probably I tried out new businesses, especially taking advantage of the situation now. I actually took advantage of it. So for me, I hope I'm not making enough noise. Let me just give it. For me, um, we were on rotation and we're working from home like everybody else around the world. And I think I took advantage of that opportunity to do a small business of home delivery of some products I could get, like, groceries, not really groceries, like greens from markets, and delivering it to other people's homes because everyone was scared of going out. And it really worked out for me. I got an extra income. So to some extent, there was something positive that came out of that. And in that, if we really look at opportunities, we can always see them anywhere,
Okay.
So for me, it was like that. Obviously, I was a bit. It's sad that people lost their jobs, and there was a restriction in employment and all those things. But for me, I looked at it in a positive way and how I can move forward. So that's as an entrepreneur, that's what I had to say. I
Great.
hope everyone is fine.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Vanessa. Yes, please, Gloria.
I'm not into business. I'm a
Okay.
teacher by profession. So, but then I want to talk about the emotional effect of COVID-19.
Yes.
Uh, I think on people, myself specifically on myself, because I work, I go to school, I teach, and going to work, talking with people, has some will I say emotional benefits on those that really go out to work. Being able to chat with your colleagues, being able to talk with students, being able to, not just keeping yourself busy, but keeping your brain busy because you are thinking of what will I do, what paper will I write, what will I teach the students, and you're always there thinking, okay, what topic is the next thing, what title of paper will I put, that how do I craft this one and how do so you but now you are just at home. To be frank, myself, I added a lot of weight, which made me to be very, very depressed. I know it might not be something, but to me, I felt very, very bad. Apart from I felt like a dumb person. I can't do anything. I can't go to work. I can't even write a paper. I can't even nobody to talk to. I'm just there at home. Yes, my kids are there. They are keeping me company. I know they are giving me their own type of joy, but there's a particular joy that your job gives you. You feel complete. You feel you are doing something. You feel active. But now I'm just there. So, and again, looking at myself, I'm times three. It was really not easy. I'm telling you the truth. It wasn't easy. It affected my work. It affected me personally. In fact, it affected my mood. So I thank God that things are going back to normal, and I pray it continues to be better each day. It wasn't easy.
Wow. Wow. Thank you there. So beyond the physical work that we actually have that fear of losing and people losing out, that emotional aspect, anyone with a similar experience that would love to share with us? Anyone with a similar experience that would love to share with us?
Maybe I could sort of like add that what tended to happen was people came together to try to see how to help some of the people who were laid off.
Okay.
groups of people, everybody, of course, really felt sad. And apart from maybe giving them, maybe raising some funds and giving them, one of the things that we told them was, here, we're giving you this money, but we want this to be a startup. Think of what you can do with this money to start something for yourself. Yeah. So we were also trying to encourage them to, come up with supporting themselves as well. So, encouraging, saying, come on, yeah, it would be good if you can think of things that you can use some of this money, in a sense, to multiply it or something of the sort. So people did, come together and try to, to help those who had been laid off, because you've been working with them all this time, and, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So, yes, Gloria.
Not that's very important, but I think it means a lot to those that it affects. So I know there was a group that I belong to, and is a kind of a women's group. So we were told during the lockdown, in fact, one of us suggested that the best way for us, it's just like a kind of suggestion, a kind of advice, that the best way for us women to train our kids is by telling our house helps to go home. You understand that kind of a thing? Because when your house help is there, your kids won't be able to do anything. But I don't believe that anyway, because I know it's the way you make your bed that you lie on it. So I know some of them had to lay off their house help, had to sack their house help. But myself, I was like, if this woman has been with me for years, and now there's this problem, people don't even employ house helps anymore. How do I sack this woman now that she needs me? You understand that? Yes, I told her not to come to work for some weeks, but not in bad faith, so that as she takes care of her family, myself, I take care of my kids, but not for her to go entirely. So even though she stays at home and still, and she comes once in a while, I still pay her full salary. But I know some women, in fact, in my group, they have to tell them to go. So on my own part, I see it as, no, this is my fellow woman. She has a kid. In fact, she has a son in the university. And I know she relies to 99% of the salary that we pay her. So laying her off or telling her to go because of COVID-19 is an, I would say, an act of wickedness, but being, will I say, ungrateful or not treating somebody nicely. That is it. Someone like me, I never did it, and we are still together. And she has served me, or will I say, we've served each other for 10 years. So that is it. So some house helps also suffered because they were told to go home because of COVID.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. And we will have a final discussion around what have been the ways that we have gone about dealing with the difficulties that we've had to, and now we wouldn't say the word balance, we would say how to control or how to prioritize our activities. And I would love to hear everyone on this. What have been the ways in which you have found a way to manage the challenges of COVID that you may have in some way turned into opportunities, as Vanessa mentioned? What has been your own individual way that you have found in dealing with this? And I would go. So for me, I have a support system, and that has really worked for me. So family and friends, and then having that time of when I feel that I am tired and I'm burning out, I would just close and shut down everything and just have that me time to myself. That has been my way of having to deal with it. And it has helped me so far. anyone else, what has been your own unique way of dealing with this? And I would love for us to take turns to go about talking about this. Yes, Priscilla.
Yes, thank you again. What I've tended to do lately is to lower my expectations of what I expect from myself. I think I was pushing myself too hard. I'm saying that, look, it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay to fail, because I didn't add that I'm also homeschooling my son because he can't go to school from allergies. So I have to homeschool him and have a baby. I had a baby during COVID. So you can imagine, baby during COVID, schooling and working. So it was very, very tough for me. And since I started prioritizing and then taking it easy on myself, I realized that I've rather increased my productivity. So I think that it's okay to realize that we can't be perfect as African women. It's okay to fail. We can't be superwoman. Okay, so that's been one of my major challenges. And having a network, as you're saying, is very, very important. In Africa, we are a highly network society. So it's good to make use of things you have around you, the resources you have around you, the social capital you have around you. It's quite safe to have family, very close family with you now in the COVID era. So try and then make use of them. They are willing to help anyway. So, I mean, that's one of the ways in which I'm trying to survive this COVID era. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. Support systems. For me, yes, I would love to hear your submission.
Well, it's going to sound like I'm echoing the last person, but that was not the plan. Interestingly for me, I had to like come to the realization like, okay, fine. For me, you're a black woman. It's okay to be black one. Secondly, it's okay not to be acing everything at the same time. Like some things I have to do, like there's especially now that I just recently lost my mother and everything just, fell on top of one another. I'm like, no. I have to slow down. Then another thing that I do now, more, which I have more time to do, is to pray. Once I'm exhausted, I just go into praise and worship, given that I'm a Christian, and I just fall into prayers, and from there I sleep off. And it's been working thus far.
Thank you. So prayer works for Fumi, and support systems and taking it easy works for Fumi. Thank you so much. Chimwemwe, please, would love to hear from you.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Oh, sorry. I pretty much agree with most of the ladies, with most of what the ladies have said, like prayer, taking it easy. For me, I think last year was one of the stressful years, work, personal life, and everything. So I decided to just take a break, like when you're tired, when you're emotionally exhausted, you need to learn to take a break. So I decided to focus on something else. I applied for so many scholarships just to change my focus and focus my energy on something else. So I finally got a scholarship to study my master's. So it's like I really wanted to change my environment, to move from that environment, but at the same time to do something which would help me to grow, like professionally. So yeah, I was fortunate enough to get the scholarship, and I moved, and I'm now focusing on something else. So it's good to take a break to focus on something else when you feel so exhausted, and of course pray and have a strong network or a strong support system.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So in your own way of dealing with your challenges, at the end of the day, you actually got an opportunity out of it. Congratulations. That is so
Thank
beautiful
you.
to
Thank you.
hear. Yeah. Yes, Gloria, please. Would love to hear from you.
Uh, One of the ways I try to bring myself back to bring myself back is by attending online conferences and webinars, and I'll say courtesy of Recirculate. So I attended webinars, which helped me to talk with people, hear others talk, and I forced myself, although I was not that emotionally, it really affected me very, because I have a project that I supposed to finish last year, but
Mm.
because of the pandemic, I couldn't do it, which really affected me. But luckily for me, I had to get an extension that will end in few months' time. So that also helped me to come out of my unusual self. So another thing that I did was to register for an online classes where I learned how to make ice cream, cakes, and the rest of them. I didn't know how to make cake before, but now I can make cake, and not just myself. I learned it with my daughters. Yes, I had to pay, and we learned it together. So we started making. In fact, all our birthdays we'll be making cakes for ourselves, and then we make cakes and we give to our friends and even our visitors. Now my daughter can make cake very well, and that has really made me very happy. And the another one is being able to, even as I start home, to write, present, present in an online conferences and all that. It really made me to feel very, very okay and active, just the way I would have wanted it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Patience, anyone? I would love to hear from you. Yes, please, Julia.
Uh, Two things was very important to me to
Yes.
understand that I need to organize myself during the
Mm.
COVID time. When I was teaching about the ergonomic things in the health and safety at work, I learned that all women have limits, was the first.
Okay.
And after, yes, I heard a priest spoken to Semirian that the seminarians have to believe what they read, teach what they believe, and live what they teach. Yes, and I understand. No, now I need to organize myself, organize what I have to do in the COVID time, and to facilitate myself to do anything in physical and emotional health. What things that I can do today, for example, I can do that. It's fine. And tomorrow I can do other things. And what I learned during this time to organize myself is I need to organize my life. I need to organize what things I need to do, respecting the need of the life. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing, Julia. Anyone would love to share with us? Yes, Patience. Yes, Patience, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was on mute.
No worries.
Yeah, I mean, immediately before the COVID, work
Yes.
was very stressful for me. I'm a researcher with the CSIR. Go
Okay.
to the field, come back home, organize your data, upload a lot of work. So during the lockdown, even though we're still working online, I decided to take some rest at a point in time because I realized I was so stressed out. So I took rest. and I learned how to at least take some rest for myself. And also I took the opportunity to learn a few things online. For instance, sometimes they tease us that we are not IT compliant. So there was a time that we had to make recordings, presentations, and one of my colleagues suggested that, oh, I should allow one of the guys to do, because they know as a woman, when it comes to that, we are. But no, I took it upon myself and asked for assistance, and I was able to do it, and it was perfect.
Wow.
So I think I used that time to learn something for myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that has been your own way of addressing the challenges with COVID. Thank you so much for sharing. Anyone would like the last few words? Anyone? Mavis, would you like to share with us what has been your own way of dealing with COVID? And Okangwa, would you love to share with us? Yes, please. Mavis, please go ahead. Mavis, please. I think internet, or maybe she. Yes, Mavis, please go ahead. Anyone else? I think that we are bringing our discussion to an end, and the highlight of this conversation has been a very interesting one. That today we all together came to a conclusion that we may not necessarily need work-life balance. Perhaps the word that will fit more will be harmony, or how about control, as a way of protecting ourselves and then the people around us and also our jobs. And that it's important to have that time and space for yourself for the purposes of protecting and maintaining your own mental health, your physical health and your well-being, also to be able to increase productivity and to be more of a rounded person and to get more out of life. And it's interesting to see that although COVID came with challenges, out of that, we've been able to build stronger family life. We've been able to take time for ourselves. We've been able to learn new skills. We've had, some are learning new technologies and some are learning how to bake. Out of that, someone has been able to start a business. Out of that, someone has been able to get an opportunity to school. And it's so interesting that we've been able to do all these as women. And that is the best and the most beautiful part of it. I think that at the end of the day, what we take off is the fact that COVID may have brought challenges, but it also has been convenient. It's also given us that wider space and that bigger platform and opportunities. At the end of the day, if we want a harmony and not balance, it will be to first to prioritize and reprioritize. What is important to you? Is this necessary? Should this be on my to-do list first? Do I need to create a list? Maybe you've not thought about it, but it will be important to start thinking of ways in which you could prioritize how to go about activities, which we've all learned today is very, very key and very necessary. Also, the fact that we are able to set boundaries of our limits, knowing that we are not in for perfectionism, that we cannot achieve it all, that we are not able to do it all, that we have our own limits. So being able to set boundaries, let go of that perfectionism, just accept that you are human to some extent, that maybe you may have taken it on yourself, either personally or from the pressures of society, to be that superwoman. Yes, you can be in your own way. There is no definition of who that superwoman is. Also, to be consistent with the things that we do, to find time for ourselves, either maybe through praying, either through worship, either just going off social media, either going off your phones, and finding the right people to support. I think that that has been very key in the conversation about support systems. And it could be family, it could be that just one friend, it could be a colleague at work, just that support system to keep you in place, to keep you checked, to help you find that space together. At the end of the day, take care of yourself. Self-care is the most important thing. That in trying to find that harmony or in trying to control everything, self-care is the most important, and it is very important. And I think that that will be our takeaway from this conversation today, that we don't necessarily need work-life balance. Rather, we could create a harmony. And harmony is something that is beautiful. It's being able to create that beautiful mix in all of everything that you are doing. I'm so thankful to each and every one who participated in this event. I'm so happy for your contributions and the conversations. And you can just keep the conversations going. Next off, we will be talking about COVID and something else, and I would love to keep you in suspense. You don't know what is coming, but just keep on tuned to the Women Innovators Network for Africa, because we have beautiful and wonderful programs and events lined up for you. Until then, thank you, ladies, and do have a wonderful evening. And I'll be happy to hear everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Bye.
ladies.
Thank you for seeing us today.
Bye,
Please, can we
Vanessa.
get recording?
This should be more often. Hi. Hi, Patience.
Hi. So great to see you.
Hi, Chimwemwe.
Hello. Sorry you can't see me. I'm in my
That's
pajamas
okay.
already.
Next time, I need tips on that scholarship thing. How to get a scholarship.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
sure. You
What?
you can get my number from Afra.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes. I would love to share her number with you.
Yeah.
no problem.
And
Thank
can
you
we
so
can
much.
we get the recording?
Thank you. Bye.